Welcome to the Criticulus, and today I am here with another review. I'm the Monk, and I'm going to be reviewing Madden NFL 21. So the time has come when all of the EA Sports games are coming out. For next year, and we have another one. They are still using the Frostbite engine. And this game was developed and published by EA. So it is definitely a AAA rated game. I think that EA these days, you know what you're going to get with whatever sporting franchise you decide to buy. You know the game that you're going to get. It's very much a cut and copy of last year with a few improvements, and in Madden 21, unfortunately, there's no change to the formula here. So for £55, that's the basic package. Obviously, there are a lot more expensive ones. They really like pushing their Ultimate Team, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, so what do you get? Well, of course, because they're using a Frostbite engine, you get a game that looks and sounds great. And it does. It's got to be said that this game visually does look really, really good, and it plays really, really good too. Now, I played it for quite a while, and in the entire time I played it, I got no crashes, I got no dashboards, and for me, that is a massive, massive thing. You have to remember with AAA rated games, there has to be a certain level of what we expect as consumers, and this game does deliver. It's got all the basics. This game has a number of modes. The first one is the Yard. And of course, really what the Yard is a quick online multiplayer game. You can play it offline, you can play it just on yourself, but it's a 6v6 basically, and you're playing as your created character, which you get to customize. And of course, the more you level up in the game, the more fancy you can make your custom character look. So it's a really good chance to show off where you are in a game and what you've achieved. Obviously, this game has Ultimate Team. I'm really not going to touch on Ultimate Team in this game too much. We all know what Ultimate Team is. If we've ever played an EA game before, Ultimate Team is very obvious, and it's very much, unfortunately for me, what's wrong with a lot of these video games of today. I don't really agree with Ultimate Team, the microtransactions and the loot boxes I don't like. And of course, EA are famous for putting them in. And of course, it is in this game as well. But what I wanted to show you was the Yard. It looks really, really good, to be fair. These little modes, they definitely add to it. After that, we have got Face of the Franchise. Now, Face of the Franchise is really interesting. I believe it was introduced back when the Journey was introduced into FIFA, and of course that all started happening when they got the Frostbite engine, meaning that they could actually show you footage outside of the actual pitch itself. So in Face of the Franchise, you start as a lonely high school player. You have a background in a different sport, and you're basically just learning the ropes in the NFL, or should I say playing football in general, and from there you can become the face of the the face of the franchise. And like I said, it is actually pretty fun. The story is pretty good, pretty well thought out. And after that, you have basic exhibition mode, which you just pick your favorite teams and you have a go. You can change all of the settings in this game. It's really, really, really good for beginners and experienced players. You can go as in-depth with the NFL as you want to go. This game really does allow you to get the full experience without actually being on the pitch, or of course watching a game, which is really, really good. This game also has another mode called Superstar KO, which is basically like Exhibition, although you get to do a fantasy draft of all the players in the NFL and make your dream team, and then put that dream team to action and see how they play together, which is also pretty good. I'm not sure it needs its own mode. I think you can normally customize teams anyway. But it is another mode there, and this game does give you plenty of options. It is really a very well flushed out game. Definitely got that AAA rated status stamped on the DNA of these games, and it does look and sound absolutely amazing. I've already said that. And then lastly, you have the franchise. Now, for me, these games are what it's all about. Like I said, I am not about the Ultimate Team. I know a lot of people are. But the Ultimate Teams in any games never really get much of a praise from me, and so I'm not going to give it one in this review either. But the franchise, you take on your own NFL team and you try and win the seasons, and you can play as many seasons as you want. Obviously you want to try and win a Super Bowl, and you get to manage this as you want. Now you can choose to be, you can choose your background, whether you were a player, whether you were a fan, whether you come from lots of money, and all these things affect how you, being the manager, is gonna shape your team in the future, how well it's going to be received, the kind of money you're going to get. And like I said, this game is really in depth. They do have every single player in the NFL in their roster. You can do the training and individually assign which players you want to get better. And they do a really, really good job in this game, to be fair. I didn't really see too many things that they needed to improve. Like I said, it's actually, I personally haven't got much experience with this particular game. But I did used to live in Mississippi myself. I have watched quite a few games. I do know what I'm talking about a little bit. And from what I know about the game, everything is actually in there. And it looks and plays really easily. Like I said, you can actually make this game as simple as you want. Not only can you turn down the difficulty, and of course we all know that the NFL games are absolutely, they are huge. They are marathons of games. They are not like football, FIFA. It's just a quick 90 minutes. These games go on for 3 hours plus, but you can make these games shorter. You can play just offensive games. You can change the quarter lengths, and of course you can change the difficulty overall. So I really like the accessibility that they try to do in these games. Now, I haven't played too much of the last game, so I can't actually remember if that was in the game back then. But like I said, I have been actually quite impressed with this game. But unfortunately, that brings me to its biggest letdown, and that's the fact that for me, there is nothing really, there's no standout on this game. This game is exactly what it is meant to be on paper. And for me, that's why I have to give this game a 7 out of 10. Now, I guess I'm quite critical on games. I guess if this is exactly what you expected a game to be like, you could give it a 10 out of 10. But for me, it was lacking. I don't know what they could have put in it to make it any better for me. But maybe it's just because I'm not a massive fan of the NFL. But there again, if this was the next FIFA game, I would probably give it exactly the same as well, because there was nothing really that they're building on for me. And that's a problem. I think that you should always be striving for something extra, and we just don't have it this time, and that's okay. This game works on paper very well. Visually, it's absolutely stunning. The sound sounds great. It is the best NFL experience that you could hope to get, and a 7 out of 10 is a great score. And so, if you are interested in these games, I would definitely recommend picking it up, because it's exactly what you want it to be. For anyone that isn't into NFL this much, and for anyone that isn't particularly into sport games, unfortunately this game is not going to appeal to you, because that's just the way it is. And for £54, I don't see many people not a fan of the game already that's going to pick it up, and that for me is why it affects the score, because it doesn't approach new players, and it would be very hard for them to do that anyway. So anyway, I have been the Monk, and we have been the Critically Clueless. This is my review on Madden NFL 21. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe. We currently have 90% of all viewers not subscribed, and we are chasing the 1,000 mark. Every subscription is valued and greatly appreciated. And I hope you enjoy your days. We will see you again soon with more videos on the way.
So important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. Third down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go and make the tackle right away.
So on now is the Clemson man, Bradley Pinion, to punt this one away. The All-Pro Deontay Harris deep for New Orleans. This returnable for Harris. And now nothing but green ahead of him. Touchdown, New Orleans. Mark that down as an 85-yard punt return. And the Saints have taken the early lead. They get the stop defensively, force the punt, they score without their offense even stepping on the field.
I remember playing on special teams and teasing the guys on offense like, look, don't even worry about it. You guys just hang out over there. We'll bring this one all the way in a well-executed post route.
No, it's a thing of beauty, especially when it's done like that for a touchdown.
The throw, the catch, and how about the run after to get it to the end zone?
Now Sean Payton going to say, let's go for two on this one. They'll turn to Kamara. They'll try and run it up the middle. And he will dive into the end zone, and a 2-point